A part of Delaware's history is now spelled out on the pages of a new book. Arcadia Publishing has released Delaware Auto Racing. Now, the book chronicles the rich history of motorsports in Delaware, a sport that dates back to 1915. Delmar Live's Brian Spiros is in Laurel with a man who knows a thing or two about the book. He's one of the co-authors.
Well, Jimmy, he certainly is, and I'm joined now by Chad Culver, as you said, co-author of Delaware Auto Racing. And Chad, first thing, explain to me what the book is exactly about.
Well, the book's called Delaware Auto Racing. It's put out by Arcadia Publishing. It pretty much covers the history of auto racing in Delaware from about 1915 to about 1990.
For you, explain to me why you wanted to write this book and the research. Because, you know, going through the pages of the book, there's a lot of pictures, a lot of information. What went into all of this?
It was a tremendous effort. It was about a year of research and getting pictures from car owners, drivers, people like that. The whole reason for the book was there was just no book documenting Delaware auto racing out there. And I saw a need to preserve and document that history.
So how long did it take you to write the book, would you say?
It took about a year. It took a year of research and traveling, getting photos from people, and checking your facts and putting it all together.
So a lot of work, but it was well worth it in the end, I would imagine.
Absolutely.
All right, so a lot of history to this sport, and and you're actually going to show us some right now.
Sure.
Tell people about this car right here. This is interesting.
Okay, this is Lewis O'Neill's 1940 Ford, and even though auto racing in America got started in 1895, it didn't get started in Delaware until about 1915. But it really did not take off until about the late 40s. GIs came home from the war. They had skills that had been taught to them in the service to work and modify airplanes, tanks. They were looking for that adrenaline rush that they had in the war. And auto racing provided the perfect element for that. And cars like this 1940 Ford were just made for auto racing back then. They were used, they were cheap, they had V8 power, and when they came home from the war, this is exactly what they went for.
And looking at this car, you wouldn't associate this with auto racing. You wouldn't think if you saw this.
No, I mean, but the 1940 Ford is legendary. Almost all your top drivers won in a 1940 Ford. There was just something about it that made it a great race car.
All right, so from this car, we're going to move over here now to something that's a little more modern, I guess you could say.
Yeah, slightly more modern and more specialized. This is a 1987 Olsen Eagle driven by the late Bob Turecki. He was champion at Delaware International Speedway 3 times and ranks 10th on their all-time win list. Very specialized car. Doesn't look anything like you would see on the street.
No.
Completely specialized, big block power, just a complete race machine.
So all of these cars here and so many more are inside the book. You have a lot of information. You know, we're talking about there's a lot of rich history here to the auto racing. If you had to briefly, you know, sum it up, what is it like today?
You know, it's in good hands. Charlie Cafell, we only have really one full-time dirt track left in Delaware that runs full-size stock cars, and that's Delaware International Speedway in Delamar. It's been the Cafell family since the 60s. It's in good shape. You know, there were many tracks back in the day in Delaware, and every farmer's field had a track. Now we only have the one dirt track left. Of course, we have the NASCAR track in Dover. I think what we have in Delmar is a very strong track to go to.
Right.
Good car turnouts, and the history's still evolving. I mean, there's still people out there interested in it and still taking it forward into the next century.
All right, a lot of good information, and people can read all about it in the pages of the book.
Absolutely.
All right, Chad, thank you very much. And again, the book is called Delaware Auto Racing. And for more information, you can log on to our website, delmarvalife.com, and click on the show tab. Jimmy, it's a good read, and I'm bringing back a copy so you can take a look at it in the office.
Bring back a car, too, would you, Brian? I'd appreciate that.
I'll see what I can do about that, but if not, you'll get the book.
I'll get the book. Okay, that's good. Still ahead on Delmar Life, it'll soon be time to take the assessment tests in Maryland. We're going to run down some tips on how to get your child ready. Delmar Life, life at its best, here on Delmar.